Krishna, welcome everyone to our weekly Gita class. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurattishe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priyam Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadravyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we'll start the chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. We have already completed till chapter 8. In the initial 6 chapters, we have seen Krishna has enumerated different forms of yoga, like Sankhya Yoga or analysis of body and soul. Then the 3rd chapter, we have seen Karma Yoga, which is the initial phase of Bhakti Yoga. And in few verses, Krishna has given a slight hint of Bhakti Yoga, like 3.30, Mai Sarvani Karmani Shamnashaddhatma Chetasa, like that. In the 4th chapter, we have seen Jnana Yoga or transcendental knowledge. In the 5th chapter, we have seen Karma Sannyas Yoga. The 6th chapter, we have seen Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. So different forms of yogas are explained, different ways in which the transcendentalists they accept to realize the absolute truth. They are explained in the first 6 chapters. But in a few verses, Krishna has recommended, like in the 3rd chapter and the 5th chapter, Arjuna was asking this question, whether to do my duty or whether I should become a Jnana Yogi by abandoning my duty. And Krishna repeatedly recommended that you should perform Karma Yoga. Krishna's ultimate recommendation is Bhakti Yoga, but because Karma Yoga is easier to perform and it is the first step of Bhakti Yoga, therefore Krishna prescribes Karma Yoga. But in the middle 6 chapters, 7 to 12, Krishna elaborately speaks about Bhakti Yoga and the confidential science of Bhakti Yoga. And in the last 6 chapters, again from 13 to 18, there is Jnana Yoga. So predominantly initial 6 chapters are Karma Yoga, last 6 chapters are Jnana Yoga, and middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita elaborately speaks about Bhakti. So Bhagavad Gita is like a jewelry box. There is a upper lid and there is a lower lid, and in between the lids there is a jewel of Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is the real essence of Bhagavad Gita, and we have seen that in different places. Krishna, like at the end of 6th chapter also, Krishna is telling Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mata. Among all the different yogis, Bhakti Yogi is the most intimately connected to me. So I want to show you one interesting thing. If you see the structure of entire Bhagavad Gita, the chapter number and verses are given. Chapter 1 has 46 verses, chapter 2 72, like that. So Bhagavad Gita has total 700 verses. So first 6 chapters and little bit of the Bhakti Yoga section. It is 349 verses, and the last 6 chapters along with some portion from Bhakti Yoga is 349, and the middle two verses are 9.13 and 14. These are the exact middle of Bhagavad Gita. And we will see through the 9th chapter when we'll study. The 13 and 14 verse speaks about Radharani and Kirtan. 13 verse says, Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivim prakriti mashrita bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. So, in the 13th verse, Krishna speaks that the Mahatmas or the great personalities, they say, take shelter of my superior potency, internal potency, Radharani. So, the Supreme Lord has both the external potency and internal potency. External potency is Durga, who is taking care of this material world. And internal potency is Radharani or Yogamaya, who is taking care of the spiritual pastimes of the Lord. If we are not Krishna conscious and we are trying to gratify our senses, we are under the influence of Durga Devi. Durga Devi will punish us by the threefold miseries. Like the trident in the hand of Durga Devi is a symbol of threefold miseries. Miseries due to one's own body and mind, Adhyatmik Klesh. Miseries due to other living entities, Adi Bhautik Klesh. And miseries due to the natural calamities or Adi Daivik Klesh. But the intelligent persons, the great personalities or yogis, bhaktas, they take shelter of the superior potency or internal potency of the Supreme Lord, which is Srimati Radharani. And what they do by taking shelter of the internal potency, they do Nam Sankirtan. 9.14 says, Satatam kirtayanto mam jadantascha didabrata namashantascha mam bhakta nitya yukta upasate. So we see that at the core of Bhagavad Gita, the core teachings of Bhagavad Gita is take shelter of Srimati Radharani and do Harinam Sankirtan. That is the core essence of Bhakti Yoga. And Nam Sankirtan is the prominent limb of Bhakti Yoga. Tar Madhya Sarvashreshta Nam Sankirtan Niraparadha Nam Laile Pai Premadhan. This Nam Sankirtan or offenseless chanting of the holy names is the only way by which we can get the eternal love of Godhead. So let us start this chapter 9. So this chapter 9 is the most confidential knowledge, the most confidential chapter of the entire Bhagavad Gita. Okay, because in the initial chapters, Krishna is giving kind of introduction. In the last 6 chapters, Krishna is kind of concluding. But the elaborate main topic is discussed in 7 to 12. And that too in chapter 9 comes the most confidential knowledge. So let us begin. The first part of this chapter 9 says about that the knowledge of pure bhakti. Krishna is glorifying the knowledge of pure bhakti. This 9th chapter is most confidential knowledge. So the purest form of devotional service, knowledge about that most pure devotional service is explained in this chapter. So let's begin. The first 3 verses, Krishna will give an introduction that why this knowledge of pure devotional service is important. Shri Bhagavan Uvacham idam tu te guhyatamam prabhakshamya nashuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajgatva mokshashe shubhat. This chapter is basically very similar to chapter 7. If you choose the chapter 7 also, the first 3 verses, it describes the glory of the knowledge about Krishna. In the 9th chapter also, we are seeing the first 3 verses are speaking about the glories of knowledge about pure bhakti. So this is more deep knowledge in the 9th chapter. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved from the miseries of material existence. So, what is the use of this most confidential knowledge? The one benefit which we'll get, that you shall be relieved from the miseries of this material existence. For a person who has this knowledge about pure devotional service is free from all the miseries in this material existence. It's not like miseries will not come into his life. Miseries will come, but he is protected by that knowledge. Just like if we use an umbrella, it is still raining, but we will not get wet. So one who is equipped with this knowledge of pure devotional service, although miseries are coming in his life, he will not be affected. Dukkheshu anudvignamana sukheshu vigataspriha vitaraga bhaya krodha sthita dhir muni ruchyate. So he will be like a sthita pragya, and the turbulences of this material world will not affect such a person. And why Arjuna is the recipient of such the most confidential knowledge, the topmost knowledge Arjuna is receiving from Krishna. Why Arjuna? Because Arjuna is Krishna's friend and he is not envious of Krishna. So this is the qualification to receive this knowledge about pure devotional service, that we should not be envious of Krishna. In the 7th chapter we have studied, if you remember, what is the reason that we came to this material world. There are two reasons why why a living entity comes to this material world. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Of all the living entities are born into delusion in this material world, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hatred. So because we desired to enjoy sense gratification and we hated Krishna, we were envious of Krishna. Ichha dvesha, ichha or desire to enjoy the sense gratification, lower pleasures, animalistic pleasures, and dvesha, envious of Krishna. Being envious of Krishna, we came to this world. What is the meaning of envy towards Krishna? That why should Krishna enjoy? I should enjoy. I should become the boss. I will not serve Krishna, but everyone should serve me. The whole universe is for my enjoyment. This kind of mentality is called dvesh. We are envious of Krishna. That why Krishna is the center of attraction. Why everyone is serving Krishna. Everyone should serve me. So therefore, because Arjuna is non-envious of Krishna, Arjuna is receiving this knowledge. So following the footsteps of Arjuna, if we are non-envious, then we can receive this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita appropriately and we can assimilate the knowledge. And after we assimilate the knowledge, what will be the effect? That we will be relieved from all the miseries of this material existence. Okay, so next verse, Krishna says, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyakshavagam Dharmyam Shushukam Kartumavyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, Rajavidya. It is Raja among all the Vidyas. It is the Raja or king of all knowledge. Rajaguhyam, it is the most secret of all secrets. Pavitramidam Uttamam, it is purest knowledge because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. So it gives us self-realization. And the most interesting thing is Susukham Kartum Avyam. This is not boring. If we are practicing the devotional service, Susukham, we will experience happiness. Kartum Avyam. While doing this devotional service, we will experience Susukham. That is the nature of this knowledge. So this knowledge is the most confidential knowledge, but once we practice this knowledge, we get happiness. So that is the nature of this knowledge. Therefore, we should learn this knowledge of pure devotional service and practice in our life. Text 3, Krishna says, Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Ashraddhadhana Purusha, those Purusha who do not have Shraddha, those who are not faithful in the devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of the enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So, one clarification here. Here, Purusha does not mean male. Okay. Purusha means here the living entities in general. But why they are called Purusha? There is a deep reason behind it. Whether it is male or female in this world, they have a mentality to enjoy. And this enjoying mentality is called Purusha. Because Krishna is the ultimate enjoyer, Krishna is called Param Purusha. And like all of us, we are energies of Krishna. Whether we are in the male body or in the female body, we all are energies of Krishna. So in that context, Krishna is Shaktiman, Purusha, and we all are Shakti. We are under the Tatastha Shakti of the Supreme Lord. So whether we are male or female, actually we are Prakriti or we are feminine in nature. Like if you consider Krishna as Shaktiman, we are Shakti. So in that way, we are all Prakriti. But we have a Purusha Abhiman. Although we are actually Prakriti and Krishna is the original Purusha, but after coming to this material world, being illusioned by the three modes of material nature, we think we are Purusha. So therefore, Purusha refers to any living entity in this material world. So if they are not having faith in this knowledge of pure devotional service, then they cannot attain they cannot attain Krishna. And what will happen? Therefore, they will return to the path of birth and death. And in this material world, again, they will suffer birth, old age, disease, death, adi atmik klesh, adi bhautik klesh, adi daivik klesh. So one should have faith and one should be nirmatsar or non-envious to receive this knowledge. There are two qualifications Krishna speaks in the first three verses of this chapter. And if we receive this knowledge and practice, we will experience happiness, and we will we don't have to come to this material world again. Permanently, we get liberation from the cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So that is the motivation given in the beginning of the chapter, that why one should learn this most confidential knowledge. Okay. So the next section is 4 to 10. It is called Aishwarya Gyan, or Krishna's relationship with this material world. So Krishna has two different kinds of pastimes. One is spiritual pastimes and one is material pastimes. The word Krishna is explained in the scriptures as Krishir Bhuvachako Shabdo Nascha Nipritti Vachakam Tayoraikyam Parabrahma Krishna Ityavidhiyate. So the word Krishna has two syllables, Krish and Na. Krish refers to the majestic aspect of Krishna. The majestic aspect means in the form of Mahavishnu, Krishna is huge in the form. And from the bodily pores of Mahavishnu, millions of universes are manifested. When Mahavishnu exhales, all the universes are manifested. And when Mahavishnu inhales, all the universes, they go inside the body of Mahavishnu. And this duration of one breath is the lifetime of Brahma. According to earthly calculation, the lifetime of Brahma is 311 trillion years, 40 billion years. And that is just one breath for Mahavishnu. Jashaika nishvashita kalamathavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnur mahansa iha jashakala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The Brahma Samhita explains, Jashaika nishvashita kalamathavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha. Jagadandanatha refers to Brahmaji. Jashaika nishvashita kalam athavalambya. Nishvashita kalam means the time duration for one breath of Mahavishnu. Avalambya means that is the entire lifespan for Brahma. Such is the greatness of Mahavishnu. And this Vishnu is an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. Krishna's first expansion is Balaram. From Balaram comes Adi Chaturvya, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. From this Sankarshan comes Narayan. From Narayan comes again second quadruple expansion, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. This Sankarshan is called Mahashankarshan. From Mahashankarshan comes Karanodakoshayi Vishnu. From Karanodakoshayi Vishnu comes Garbhodakoshayi Vishnu. From Garbhodakoshayi Vishnu comes Kshirodakoshayi Vishnu. So therefore, Vishnu is the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. And that Vishnu is so great that from the bodily pores of Mahavishnu, millions of universes are manifested. And one breath for Mahavishnu is the entire lifespan for Brahma. So these are all the majestic aspects of the Supreme Lord. Krishna is so great. Unless we know the greatness of Krishna, we cannot relish the sweetness. Like directly, if we study Krishna's pastime with the gopis and Krishna doing Ras Leela, we will think Krishna is just like an ordinary boy. Just like in this world also we see people do like different affairs, boyfriend, girlfriend. We will also consider Krishna like that. But once we have this Aishwarya Gyan, this is very important. Aishwarya Gyan means the knowledge about the majestic aspect of Krishna. Krishir Bhuvachako Shabdo. Once we know that this Krishna is same as that Mahavishnu, or Krishna is greater than the Mahavishnu, from whose bodily pores millions of universes are manifested. And like whose one breath is the entire lifespan for Brahma. So such is the greatness of Krishna. Once we know this, then understanding all different pastimes becomes very easy. Therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is Bhagavad Gita, there is another literature called Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the postgraduate study of spirituality. Bhagavad Gita like undergrad. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto explains the sweet pastimes of Krishna with Mother Yashoda, with the gopis, with the sakhas. But from canto 1 to 9, the majestic aspect of Krishna is explained. It is like preparing us to enter into the sweet pastimes of Krishna so that we do not misunderstand those pastimes. Here in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna gives this Aishwarya Gyan, the knowledge about majestic aspect of Krishna. So let's see. Krishna says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavasthita. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So he, in this, like verse number 5 and verse number 4, Krishna is confusing Arjuna by showing the majestic aspect. How? Let us understand. Very interesting. Krishna says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. I am all pervasive. I am there inside every atom of this universe. Matsthani sarva bhutani. All the living entities and all the universes are inside me. And we know this past time that when Mother Yashoda opened the mouth of Krishna, opened the mouth, Mother Yashoda could see the entire universe within Krishna. So Matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham te swavasthita. But I am not in them. Krishna is telling in the first portion of this verse that I am everywhere. In the last portion of the verse, Krishna says that I am not in them. And Krishna also says all the living entities are inside me. Okay. So already there is a contradiction. Krishna is telling I am everywhere, but I am not in them. And Krishna says all the living entities are inside me. Understand this puzzle. This is very interesting. In the verse number 5, Krishna says, Nachamatstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhutavrinna cha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavana. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Surprising. In the verse number 4, Krishna says, Matsthani sarva bhutani, everything rests on me. In the verse number 5, Krishna says, Nacha matsthani bhutani, everything does not rest on me. In the verse number 4, Krishna says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadabhyakta murtina. I am all pervasive. I am inside everything. The last part of the fourth verse, Krishna says, Nachaham tesbhavasita. I am not in everything. So this is bewildering to Arjuna. Arjuna is bewildered by simple statements when Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna that Arjuna, you execute your duty, but you should not get attached to fruits of your action. Then Arjuna misunderstands and gets confused, and Arjuna thinks, oh, Krishna is telling me to abandon the duty itself. And here Krishna is explicitly confusing Arjuna. Nachamatsani bhutani. Now at this point, Krishna knows that Arjuna is totally confused and bewildered. And Krishna is laughing. Pasyame yogam aishwaram. See Arjuna, my mystic potency. I'm inside everything. Still I'm not inside everything. Everything is inside me. Still everything is not inside me. See my mystic potency. Okay. So what is the actual purport? Why Krishna is contradicting his own statements? Therefore, understanding again and again, if you read Bhagavad Gita carefully, you will understand. Without acharyas, we cannot understand Gita. There is a very beautiful verse in this context. What is the importance of acharya? What is the necessity of acharya in understanding scriptures? So there is a verse, Keshabam patitam drishtva pandava harsha nirvara rudanti kaurava sharbe ha ha keshava keshava. If you carefully see this verse, you have little knowledge of Sanskrit, you will decode the verse as that Keshavam patitam drishta. Keshav means Krishna. Keshavam patitam drishta. By seeing Krishna falling down from a chariot. Krishna fell down from a chariot. Pandava harsha nirvara. Harsha means bliss, Ananda. So the Pandavas became very happy seeing Krishna falling from the chariot. Rudanti Kaurava Sarve. The Kauravas are crying that, ha ha, Keshava, Keshava. Oh, Keshav, you fell down from the chariot. Ha ha ha. So, this is the apparent meaning of the verse. So, you will think, when did this happen that Krishna fell down from a chariot? Krishna cannot fall down from chariot. Krishna is called Achyuta, infallible. But this verse says, Keshavam Pratitam Deshta Pandava Harsha Nirvara. And the Pandavas became happy. Pandavas are friends of Krishna. They should cry and the Kauravas should be happy. But here, the opposite is happening. Pandavas are happy and Kauravas are crying. So, what is happening? The actual meaning of the verse is Ke Shavam Patitam Drishtva. Ke means on the surface of water. Shaba means the dead body. Patitam Drishtva. By seeing a dead body floating on the surface of water, Pandava, another meaning for Pandava is fish. The fishes became very happy. Pandava Harsha Nirvara. That, oh, the dead body fell down in the surface of water. Now we can eat. Rudanti Kaurava Sarve. Kaurava, another meaning for Kaurava is Kuraba. Ku means bad, Rava means voice. The animals with a bad voice, jackals and howls like that. Rudanti Kaurava Sarve. They are crying, ha ha, Keshava, Keshava. The dead body went into the water. We cannot enjoy it. Now the fishes will enjoy. So, this is the actual meaning of the verse. So, apparently, if we read scriptures on our own, we may misunderstand the scriptures. Therefore, you will see that when I did not join ISKCON, I was reading different scriptures and I was also confused. And in different Puranas, in different scriptures, different things are glorified. In Devi Puran, the Devi is glorified as the Supreme Lord. In the Shiv Puran, Shiv is glorified as the Supreme Lord. In Vishnu Puran, Vishnu is glorified as the Supreme Lord. Everywhere I could see contradiction in the scriptures. But when I went through the commentaries of the Acharyas, like Srila Prabhupada has done a great job that he has compiled all the commentaries by all previous Acharyas in the Bhakti Vedanta purports. So these purports are very important. Due to lack of time, we are not going through the purports, but you should go through them. We are only going through the theme of Bhagavad Gita for your understanding, but you should go through the purport. Then we will understand. And I am also mentioning the important points from the purports, what is the actual meaning, so that you do not lose. But you should carefully read the purport line by line. So this is evident that we have to take shelter of our acharyas. Otherwise, understanding scriptures is impossible for us. Therefore, Krishna himself speaks to Arjuna in Adi Puran. Je me bhakta jana partha na me bhaktascha te jana mad bhaktanam cha je bhakta te me bhaktatamo matam. One who claims that I am Krishna's devotee, he is not actually my devotee. But one who is the devotee of Krishna's devotee, he is actually Krishna's devotee. So if we think, I want to connect with Krishna through the medium of scriptures, then you will misunderstand scriptures and you will not get Krishna. But if you think, I will try to connect with Krishna through the medium of Krishna's devotee, that is the correct approach. Because the devotees know the secret of the scriptures. Okay. So here also in the verse number 4 and 5, what is the actual meaning? So there are 4 contradictory things. Krishna is in everything. Krishna is not in everything. Contradiction. Everything is in Krishna and everything is not in Krishna. So what is going on? So Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu. If we see Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu, everything is inside Mahavishnu. Everything comes out of Mahavishnu, and after annihilation, everything goes into Mahavishnu. So everything rests on Krishna. How can we understand this? In the form of Mahavishnu. Everything does not rest on Krishna. How can we understand? Then we have to take this form of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. In this form, Krishna is completely oblivious of this material universe. Krishna is not at all bothered about this material universe. All the Purusha avatars, Karanadakoshai Vishnu, Garvodakoshai Vishnu, Kshirodakoshai Vishnu, they takes care of the material universe. And Krishna is oblivious. So in this form, it is not that everything rests on Krishna. Okay. Krishna is completely detached from the material world. I am not in them, like that. So everything rests on Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu. Everything does not rest in Krishna in the form of Sham Sundar Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. Now, Krishna is in everything. How can we understand? In the form of Kshirodakoshayi Vishnu or Paramatma. Krishna is there inside every atom. Okay. So, Kshirodakoshayi Vishnu as Paramatma or Super Soul is situated in everyone's heart and even within every atom. एकोऽप्यशौ रचयितुं जगदण्डकोटिं यच्चक्तिरस्ति जगदण्डजयायदन्तः अण्डन्तरस्थपरमाणुचयन्तरस्थं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. In every atom, अण्डन्तरस्थपरमाणुचयन्तरस्थं गोविन्दम आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. So in this form of Kshirodakoshayi Vishnu or Paramatma, Krishna is there inside every atom. Krishna is everywhere inside the heart of every living entity. But again, if we take the form of Sham Sundar Krishna of Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is not in everything. Krishna is only in Golok Vrindavan. This Kshirodakoshayi Vishnu is also a form of Krishna who is everywhere. But Krishna has also one localized form of Sham Sundar in Golok Vrindavan. That form is not everywhere. So this is how we can resolve these apparent contradictions. Okay. Now Arjuna is confused. We have our Acharya, Srila Prabhupada and all. They are making things clear. They are resolving the apparent contradictions. But when Krishna was speaking this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Arjuna was confused. No one is there to clarify the doubts of Arjuna. So Krishna himself clarifies in the next few verses what he tries to mean. So the most bewildering factor Arjuna was encountering is how can everything rest in Krishna? Krishna is my friend, and Krishna has a body, and that body is limited. That is a finite body. How can this infinite universe rest inside the finite body of Krishna? This was the doubt of Arjuna. And Krishna is explaining that with an analogy. Yathakasho sthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthan nityupadharaya. So Krishna says, understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. If we go to an open field, we will see that the entire sky is like a inverted bowl, a bowl of blue color inverted. Okay. And the entire air or the wind is inside this covering of the blue bowl called the sky. So although the mighty wind is everywhere, wind is all pervasive, wind is infinite, but still it is contained within the sky. So similarly, although this material world is infinite, but in the form of Mahavishnu, the entire material universe can contain within Mahavishnu. So that is the analogy given here. So that means it is possible that although Arjuna is only seeing a finite form of Krishna, but Krishna also has an infinite form as Mahavishnu, and in that form, the entire universe can rest within Krishna. Okay. Sarvabhutani kvanteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpado vishrijamyaham. So now Arjuna is asking, internally asking. Arjuna is not explicitly asking the question. If Arjuna explicitly asks the question, you should have something like Arjuna Uvacha. But Krishna is understanding the internal questions of Arjuna and answering. So once Krishna told that it is possible that in my infinite form, the entire universe is contained within Mahavishnu. Now Arjuna might question, when does things happen? Like we do not see that form of Mahavishnu, and we do not see the entire universe is resting on Mahavishnu. So when does it happen? So Krishna says, O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, Kalpakshaye, at the end of Brahma's day, all material manifestation enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, in the beginning of another day of Brahma, by my potency, I create them again. So we have already explained this while explaining the 8th chapter. So in every day of Brahma, partial dissolution occurs. And this lotus goes inside the body of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu in every night of Brahma. And in the next day, again the lotus sprouts from the body of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So every day the lotus goes in and comes out, goes in, comes out. And when Brahmaji's lifetime is exhausted, the entire material universe goes into the body of Mahavishnu. That is called complete dissolution. So the universe goes through the periodic cycle of creation and destruction on the complete level and on the partial level. Okay. So that happens Kalpakshaye and Kalpado at the end of the millennium and in the beginning of the millennium. Okay. And also happens when Brahmaji is born and when Brahmaji dies. Then also it happens. So this is the time when we can see that fact that the entire universe is resting inside Mahavishnu. This is the time, Kalpakshaya and Kalpado. Now, the text 8 says, Prakritim sam avastavya vishtijami puna puna bhutagramam imam krishnam avasham prakriter vashat. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So we know that this creation and destruction of the material universe happens when? That question is answered in the previous verse. That at the Kalpakshaya and Kalpado, this creation and destruction happens. Now, this question, like this verse answers the question, how does it happen? When does it happen? Kalpakshaya and Kalpado. How does it happen? By my will, under the will of Krishna, under the control of Krishna. Automatically it happens. So this material world or the Prakriti is autonomous software created by Krishna. It can work automatically. Krishna does not have to come from Golok Vrindavan and operate it like again and again. Krishna has created the software and Krishna like does not need to look at it anymore. It can work in autonomous fashion. So that is the nature of this material world. So under my will, so Krishna has created it, and under Krishna's will, this material universe is automatically functioning. Okay. And all the creation, destruction, Sastri, Sthiti, Pralay, it is happening automatically, like autonomous software. Nacha mamtani karmani nivadnanti dhananjaya udashina vadashina masaktam teshu karmashu. O Dhananjay, all this work like creation, maintenance, and destruction cannot bind me in the form of Shyam Sundar Krishna. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as through neutral. So Krishna explained the form of Mahavishnu. Now Krishna is explaining the form of Shyam Sundar Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. That resolves the contradiction. Krishna apparently created this contradiction in verse number 4 and 5. Now Krishna says, in my form, so there is a hidden meaning. Krishna will not say Golok Vrindavan and all, because that is not the context. In other scriptures, we get the description of Golok Vrindavan and all. Here also in the 8th chapter, we have seen Krishna is speaking out the spiritual world, Parastasmatu Bhavanyu. Okay. So here in this verse, Krishna is speaking about the form of Krishna in the spiritual world. In that form, Krishna is not involved in the material activities and he is neutral. Although this material world is created by Krishna, it is working in autonomous fashion and Krishna does not have to interfere. Now verse number 10 says, again reiterating the same point, Mayadhakshena prakriti shuyate sacharacharam hetunanena kvanteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So under Krishna's control, this material nature is working, and this material nature comprises of all moving and non-moving beings. So everything is controlled by Krishna, and this material nature is going through the periodic creation and annihilation, and everything is autonomous, being controlled by Krishna. It is in Krishna's control, but Krishna does not have to interfere again and again. Once Krishna created, it runs automatically. Okay. So we completed the 2 sections of the 9th chapter, Krishna glorifying the knowledge about pure devotional service and the Aishwarya Jnana or Krishna's relationship with this material universe. And by the way, this is called Achinta Bheda Bhed. Krishna is simultaneously one and different from this material world. Krishna is inside this material world also. Krishna is not inside this material world. So this is called Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. Achintya means it is inconceivable. Bheda Abheda. There is difference also. There is non-difference also. There are different schools of philosophy. Like one school of philosophy is Advaita Vedanta by Shankaracharya, which says everything is one. It is a wrong philosophy. In Padma Puran, it is said that Mayavadam Asat Sastram Prachannam Bauddham Uchyate. This Mayavad is a Asat Sastra. It is not the correct philosophy. It is a bogus philosophy spread by Shankaracharya. There was some purpose. Krishna ordered Lord Shiva to preach this philosophy. So that is Advaita Vedanta. Then another is Dvaita Siddhanta by Madhvacharya, that everything is different. And this Achinta Bhedaved theory is the most refined form of the philosophy in understanding Ishwar Jivan Prakriti. This is given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the most perfect form of the philosophy, which says there is Veda also and there is Aveda also, and it is inconceivable. Achinta Bhedaved. Just like a drop of water and the ocean water, they are same also. By composition, they are same, but they are different also. A drop of water and an ocean of water is not same. The drop is very tiny. The ocean is infinite. So there is qualitative oneness and there is quantitative difference. That is called Achinta Bhedaved theory, which is explained here in this Aishwarya Jnana section of the 9th chapter. Okay. So before entering the pure devotional service, knowledge of pure devotional service, always Krishna will give this Aishwarya Jnana. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1 to 9 gives you the Aishwarya Jnana. Then you enter into the 10th canto, Sweet Pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Okay. So yes, any questions? Ayush Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as you said that there is no attachment of Shyam Sundar Krishna in this material world, and nothing is related to him regarding the affairs of material world. And there is quantitative difference between he as Krishna and his avatar also. Because it is there mentioned that Krishna has 64 qualities and Vishnu Murtis have 62, something like that. So if we consider this Bheda, then what about the Sri Vaishnavas philosophy? They actually interchangeably use Krishna and Vishnu as the same and the one, and they don't have the even concept of Goloka Vrindavan. They even call Vishnu as Govinda and Krishna as Vishnu. And this makes them to think, yes, both are the same person. But here in Gaudiya philosophy, we have differences, that they are different. And we said that Krishna is not completely detached from this material affair, but he is also taking care of this material manifestation by his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, Chirodakshaya Vishnu, and Garhodakshaya Vishnu. It is it Krishna is aware of this material world?
Okay. So your question is very interesting and very important question. And many Gaudiya Vaishnavas has this misconception that Krishna and Vishnu are quantitatively different. This is completely wrong, first of all. In Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji says, Deepar chireva hi dashantaram abhyupetya deepa yate bibhata hetu samana dharma jastadrigeva hi cha Vishnu taya bibhati govinda madi purusham tamaham bhajami. So if you have 10 different lamps and you have one lamp and you like one lamp is used to lit 10 lamps. So after everything is enlightened, all the lamps are burning, there is no difference in the intensity of burning. So we cannot say Krishna is more powerful than Vishnu. This is wrong. Krishna and Vishnu both are Vishnu Tattva and they are all equally powerful. Krishna, Ram, Nrsimha, Baman, Vishnu, everyone is equally powerful. Now coming to the fact that Krishna has 64 qualities, Vishnu has 60 qualities. So what are those extra qualities? Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri. So take Venu Madhuri. Krishna plays beautifully, flute very beautifully. Can you say that Vishnu cannot play flute? Vishnu can maintain the entire material universe. Inside this universe, we have seen that there are mere mortals who are playing flute very nicely. Can Vishnu not play flute? So Vishnu can also play flute. And actually, there is no difference between Krishna and Vishnu. If Vishnu wants, he can also manifest the form of Krishna. And he can also play flute. And he can also do Ras Leela with the gopis. But that is not the mood of Vishnu. Different incarnations of Krishna is capable of doing everything. But according to their mood, they restrict their activities. This should be our understanding. It is not that Vishnu cannot do something which Krishna can do. There is no difference between Krishna and Vishnu. Both can do everything. But according to the mood of Vishnu, Vishnu restricts himself to that Aishwarya Bhav. And people are worshipping Vishnu in Dasya Rasa. He is not reciprocating with devotees in other rasas. But Krishna does. So actually, there is no difference between Krishna and Vishnu. We have to understand that. And according to the mood of different incarnations, like Ramachandra, Ramachandra can also do the activities which Krishna did. But Ramachandra came with a different mood and different purpose. Therefore, Ramachandra's pastimes are a little different. But actually, there is no difference in power. Everyone is Vishnu Tattva. This is an offense to think that Vishnu is inferior to Krishna. So when we say that Vishnu is the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna, that does not make Vishnu inferior to Krishna. This happens in the material context, that if someone comes from me is my inferior and someone coming from me becomes more inferior. But in the spiritual subject matter, if you read Ishopanishad Abahan Mantra 1, it says, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So all the incarnations which are coming from Krishna, they are also complete. It's not that Krishna is complete. And if I consider Vishnu is coming from Krishna, so Vishnu must be incomplete. Vishnu must be inferior. That violates the Abahan Mantra Vishopanishad, and this is actually hidden Mayavad. The Mayavadis say that if you have a complete whole, and the complete whole, the whole Brahma gets dissipated into different jivas, and the quality of Brahma gets lost. But this is not Vaishnava philosophy. Vaishnava philosophy is all the expansions, all the incarnations of Krishna, they are equally powerful as Krishna. So even if there are 1,000 expansions, the potency will remain the same. So therefore, Krishna and Vishnu, there is no difference. Krishna is expanding himself for Leela, for different pastimes, but there is no difference. Okay. Yes. Was it clear?
Yes, Prabhu, I got it. But regarding the exchanges between Lord and devotees in different modes, there is sect of Andal in Sri Vaishnavas. They have very similar, almost like similar mood in exchange with Lord Vishnu. They are in conjugal mood, and they have also their texts are also very exotic. But this is contradictory to that Vishnu cannot reciprocate in Madhurya Rasa, because they are indeed worshipping the Lord in Madhurya Bhav and aspiring for that.
Yeah,
And second,
it's not that Vishnu cannot reciprocate or in Madhurya Rasa, because Vishnu also is having a consort. Vishnu is not a brahmachari. So Vishnu reciprocates with Lakshmi Devi in Madhurya Rasa. So what happens that in the Sri Sampradaya also they will have different rasa, but prominently Dasya will be there, because Vishnu's prominent mode is Dasya. Like even if they are serving in a conjugal way, the Dasya will be very prominent. But for Krishna, Madhurya is very prominent. Okay, so it's not that completely Vishnu cannot show Madhurya even 1%. It's not like that. But in their Madhurya also, the Dasya component will be very high. Like um, you cannot serve Vishnu in Madhurya as you can serve Krishna in Madhurya. Krishna's Madhurya factor is more than Vishnu. Okay, so there will be Madhurya, there will be Sakhya also, but Dasya will be very prominent. for Vishnu. But for
Yes,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
in everything, Madhurya will be prominent. That is the mood of the avatar.
Yes, I got this point, and this is indeed very true. Sakya Bhava is also manifested by Hathi Ram, one of the great
Yeah.
devotee of Lord Vishnu.
Hmm.
Uh, but my original question is Krishna is aware of our condition because he is completely detached from this material world, and
Yeah.
it is said that by the plenary expansion as Paramatma, he is aware of our condition. He is
Hmm.
not directly as Shyam Sundar is aware of our condition, but we worship and we pray that, oh Krishna, please listen our prayers, please manifest your form within our heart.
Hmm.
So what this harmonize with the Paramatma feature as well as Shyam Sundar feature.
Yes, this is also very interesting. And I thought of mentioning this. Thanks for reminding. So the fact is, Krishna is not concerned about this material world, Shyam Sundar Krishna. But whenever like one becomes devotee, he's not in the material world anymore. His body might be there in the material world. Once we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, according to our level of surrender, we are already liberated from the material world. So when one becomes devotee, then Shyam Sundar Krishna becomes concerned about that person, because that person is not in the material world. He is coming under the internal potency of Krishna. So Shyam Sundar Krishna is aware of everything. The Srimad Bhagavatam, the first verse says, Janmat dasya jatan vayad itaratascha artheshu abhigya swarat. Krishna knows everything directly and indirectly. Okay. So in the form of Paramatma, Krishna is there inside our heart. For non-devotees, Paramatma remains silent. Paramatma is the spectator. But for a devotee, Paramatma takes the form of Ishtadev. If someone is a devotee of Nishingadev, his Paramatma will take the form of Nishingadev and will reside in the heart. If someone's Ishtadev is Krishna, Paramatma will take the form of Krishna and will be there with the devotee. So, Krishna is aware of everything, but Krishna is not directly involved in the activities of the material world. Whenever someone becomes devotee, he comes out of the material world and Krishna is concerned about that person. For those persons who are completely materialistic, they are in material world, Krishna takes care of them indirectly through the Mahamaya potency. But whenever someone is doing some devotional service, Krishna takes care of that person personally. Okay. So therefore, for material world, there is no direct connection with Krishna. Someone in the material world, there is no direct connection. If you take up devotional service, although you are staying physically in the material world, you are not in the material world, and therefore Krishna is now directly connected to you. That is the whole point of chanting and doing devotional service. Even if we have some bad karma, Krishna can edit, because Krishna is now personally handling your life. Just like Krishna was assisting Arjuna, helping Arjuna. Similarly, Krishna will directly interfere into your life. And by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are inviting Krishna into our life. Hare Krishna, oh Radharani, oh Krishna, please come to my life. Please guide me. Please accept me. Please engage me in your service. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Yes, very wonderful questions. Thank you. So we'll continue the next sections of chapter 9 in the next class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai.